All right, so we're looking at this first one here. It says tell whether x and y are proportional. So here we go, 7th grade. We're going to be talking about something today that your book really doesn't talk about too much. This y equals kx, basically saying we multiply x by something and we get y, okay? The value of x multiplied by something equals y, and it's a constant. This k is what we call the constant of proportionality, okay? The constant of proportionality. We'll talk about that a little bit. Another phrase for this y equals kx is what we call direct variation, okay? Where x and y vary directly, okay? Another way to put it is they are proportional. Tell whether x and y are proportional. And in this exercise here, this part of it, basically the idea is if it goes through the point of origin. Now remember on a graph, when we have ordered pairs, if we have the point of origin, that's right here. Okay? The ordered pair for that point of origin is 0, 0. Okay? And that basically means, well, y equals kx. Well, if y is 0, then we're taking x and multiplying it by something. If x is 0, well then, that's just going to make sense. It doesn't matter what number this is. If x is 0, y is 0. It doesn't matter what the constant is, which means that it goes through the point of origin. So this first one, it's pretty obvious because when x is 0, y is -2. Okay? So this is definitely a no. They are not proportional because I don't take, because it doesn't go through the point of origin. This one here, I'm going to skip over, and then we're going to go back to the middle one. This one here is actually quite easy because it says when x is 0, y is 0. So it shows you, yes, it goes through the point of origin. Thus, this is a yes. This one, not as easy to understand because you might say, well, 0, 0 is not there, so it's a no. But remember what we're looking for. We're looking for this idea of y equals kx. You just didn't need to do that in these other examples because 0 was an x and you saw, well, it's a no because it's -2. Or they had this ordered pair for you, 0, 0, and that just gave it away. So here we have y equals kx. Well, let's think. When x is 1, what did I do to 1 to get 4? Well, I did 1 times 4. Well, what did I do to 2 to get 8? I did 2 times 4. What did I do to 3 to get 12? Well, I did 3 times 4. What did I do to 4 to get 16? I did 4 times 4. Okay? So I'm always multiplying by 4, which means the equation here is y equals 4x. 4 would be my constant. It's what I'm multiplying by. I'm always multiplying by 4. This would be my constant of proportionality. Now let's see, does it make sense to say that y equals 4 times 0? Well, yeah, that makes sense because 4 times 0 is 0. So that tells me that along this line, if I were graphing these ordered pairs, if x was 0, y would equal 0 because 0 times 4 is 0, and it works with this, making this one a yes. All right, let's move right along. Talk about the other parts. Not the simplest lesson, but not the most difficult. You're going to have to kind of work, but as long as you stay organized, you'll be fine. This next set of instructions, tell whether x and y are proportional. If yes, identify the constant of proportionality. Tell whether x and y are proportional. If yes, identify the constant of proportionality. So, first of all, I want to find out if they are proportional. Basically, I want to know is, can I rewrite them as y equals kx? Can I do that? Can I take these equations, rewrite them as y equals kx? Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to isolate the negative y. So this gets us into solving some reverse on solving equations a little bit. I want to isolate the y, so I'm going to do negative y equals. But to do that, I'm going to have to subtract x from both sides. Okay? So I'm going to come over here. That's going to give me 0. That's going to be 0 minus x. So negative y equals 0 minus x. Well, that 0 is not really helping me at all. So negative y can equal negative x. Well, I want to get rid of the negative signs. So if I multiply everything by negative 1, that just changed the signs. And then I get y equals x. Well, that's kind of what I want. I want y equals kx. But I don't have anything here. Well, we know what that means. If there's nothing here, what number's there? Go ahead and say it. 1. My constant of proportionality is 1. So yes, here, they are proportional, and the constant of proportionality is 1. All right, let's go to this one. 9 equals xy. Well, once again, I'm thinking, okay, I want to isolate y. X and y together, that's a multiplication problem. So I'm going to divide everything by x. This is going to become 9 over x. And when I divide this by x, it just gives me y. Okay, so it says, well, 9 divided by x equals y. Okay, well, I'm not really going to be able to do anything with that. Okay? I can't rewrite this as y equals kx. It's 9 divided by x. So this one is going to be a no. They are not proportional. All right, moving right along. X cubed equals y. Well, I just want x equals y, not x cubed. Okay? There's not really much that I can do here. Okay, I can't change this without changing that. So clearly, that's going to be a no. That just does not work. Okay? Let's look at this one. X over y equals 8. Well, once again, I want to isolate. First of all, let's say, okay, x over y equals 8. So it's going to say x divided by y. Well, first, if I want to isolate the y, okay, or first let's think, okay, if I'm going to go x over y equals 8, okay? So x divided by y equals 8. So I'm thinking, okay, let's think about what I'm going to do here, okay, and how I would get 8, okay? So let's think. Well, if it's constantly, I'm dividing and getting 8, okay? So think, well, let's plug in some numbers. Well, 16 divided by 2 equals 8. Or maybe 40 divided by 5 equals 8. Okay? But then I can think, oh, well, I can re-look at these and I can say, well, if I take x, which is 16, and I divide that by 8, I get y. Okay? Which in this case would be 2. So basically then I'm saying, well, okay, then technically what I'm doing then, if x is 40, and I'm dividing it by y, whatever y would be, I'm getting 8. Okay? So, but then once again, I'm saying, okay, well, if x is 40, and just replace that with x, and I divide it by 8, I'm getting 5, which is y. Well, that's interesting. Now I've isolated y by saying, okay, x divided by 8 equals y. But of course I know when I divide something by 8 over 1, it's the same as multiplying it by 1 over 8. Okay? And I'm thinking, well, okay, that's interesting. Which means then that 1 over 8x equals y. Which means not only is this a yes, but my constant of proportionality is 1 over 8. Okay? Things you got to think about. Sometimes you got to approach things differently, 7th grade. We've talked about this before. A lot of times there are things that we can do. We just have to look at all the different options. Okay? Last section. X and Y are proportional. Find the constant of proportionality. Write an equation that relates X to Y. Well, essentially, okay, I have 81. When Y equals 81, X equals 3. Okay, essentially all I have to do here is I want to figure out, well, what am I doing to X to get Y? Or since I want it as Y equals KX, I want to think to myself, what am I doing to Y to get X? So I'm thinking, okay, well, what did I do to X to get Y? Whatever. So I'm going to think 81 divided by 3. What did I do to X to get Y? I multiplied by something, so I'm going to divide. Now, if I go and do 81 divided by 3, I'm going to find that that equals 27. Okay? So basically, Y equals 27 times X. Y equals 27 times X. All right, last one. When Y equals 26, X equals 8. When Y equals 26, X equals 8. Okay? So here we go. Thinking, all right, well, once again, it's the Y, 26, being divided by 8. Let's go ahead and simplify that. 13 over 4. Okay? 13 over 4. I'm thinking, well, okay. That's in simplest form. If I want to, I could make that 3 and 1 over 3. But it's essentially, I want to know the constant of proportionality, 27 in this one. My equation is Y equals 27X, because 81 divided by 3 was 27. In this one, 26 over 8 becomes 13 over 4, or 3 1/3. You can just write it as Y equals 13 over 4. And really, we prefer you to leave it as a fraction in simplest form. 13 over 4x. Your constant of proportionality is 13 over 4. That's your equation, Y equals 13 over 4x. All right, talk to you later. Bye.